Oh my gosh! It's the Diamond Village! That's so rare!
This is the biggest cheater in all of Minecraft speedrunning.
The loot in this chest is so crazy!
Actually, this is just some random kid I found on YouTube. This is the actual biggest cheater of all time. Epic Minecraft Dream Pro Speedrunning. In a speedrun he uploaded to YouTube a year ago, things are pretty crazy. Everything starts out normal until in the chest of a ruined portal he finds 8 obsidian. Way more than the maximum possible of 2. Oh, also this dude has crazy metal music over his entire run. I'm not entirely sure why. Once he's in the nether, we can see a pretty clear cut in the recording, and right afterwards, we can see in chat that he switched to survival mode, meaning that he was just in creative mode. Something that makes more sense when right after this, he immediately finds a bastion, where he finds a ton of ender pearls in a chest, which is not possible. The runner builds a portal in a very specific location, and when he enters it, it takes him right into the stronghold, something that was clearly set up and calculated before the run. So this run is pretty clearly fake, right? But notice the Minecraft username of the speedrunner. Better than Dream. Fast forward 1 year to now. Epic Minecraft Dream Pro Speedrunning, the person who uploaded this run, has completely disappeared from the internet. But a couple of weeks ago, I discovered a brand new YouTube channel called AndySavior9 with a few speedruns on it. And in one of them, the account being played on is Better Than Dream. The same account from the Epic Minecraft Dream Pro speedrun that we just watched, showing us that this new YouTube channel that is under an entirely different name is owned by the same person that owned the Epic Minecraft Dream Pro speedrunning channel. This is further shown by the music choice in one of the new channel's speedruns. In this new run, he starts by generating his world, but when he first spawns in, the pause menu is open. This shows us that he cut his recording when he was generating the world, as this is what it's supposed to look like when you first spawn into a world. No pause menu. When he cut the recording, he most likely switched to a world that he had already played on, something that is further shown by the fact that there are no structures anywhere near him when he first spawns in. But instead of resetting for a better seed, he runs for a while in a pretty specific direction and finds a village that he clearly already knew the location of. The runner loots the village houses but proceeds to find 4 iron golems throughout the entire village, something that is not possible considering that the number of iron golems is determined by the number of villagers in a village. For 4 iron golems to spawn naturally, there would need to be almost 50 villagers in this village, and as we can tell by the size of the village, there are definitely a lot less than 50. So this means that the runner spawned in at least 2 of these golems before the run so that he could get extra iron, which ends up working, and he leaves the village with 16 iron without a single blacksmith. Next, he runs to a nearby ruined portal and he loots the chest for 3 obsidian, the perfect amount he would need to complete the portal. But instead of doing this, he leaves and runs for a while until he finds a second ruined portal. And when he enters this one, he ends up right in a nether fortress, which explains why he chose to enter just this specific portal, as he clearly set all of this up before the run. He gets all the blaze rods he needs, and then only about 100 blocks away from the fortress, he finds a bastion, where there seems to be a ton of piglins, way more than should naturally spawn. He trades with these piglins, and because of just the sheer amount, he gets plenty of ender pearls in no time. So he quickly heads back to his portal in the nether fortress and returns to the overworld. Next, he locates the stronghold using a technique called triangulation, where you throw eyes of ender from multiple different locations, and the point where they would all theoretically meet is where you'll find the stronghold. This technique requires 3 or more eyes of ender to be done, but this runner only crafts and uses 2 eyes before walking right to where the stronghold is, showing us that he already knew the exact location. So why did this guy abandon the Epic Minecraft Dream Pro speedrunning channel and make this new AndySavior9 channel to post this speedrun on? Well, I exposed one of the Epic Minecraft Dream Pro speedruns as fake in a video of mine a year ago, and so since his cover was blown, he ditched the channel and made a brand new one. In another one of the runs on the new AndySavior9 channel, the runner spawns right next to a village, where in a blacksmith he grabs some iron, but he also finds iron in a normal village house, something that is not possible. The runner leaves the village next, presumably to find a lava pool or ruined portal. Almost always, the smartest move here would be to go into the desert desert, as lava pools spawn a lot more often in deserts. But instead, the runner heads through the nearby forest and into a plains biome where, what do you know, he finds a lava pool. Oh, also notice how it's already nighttime, only about 3 minutes into the run. Something that shows us that he already played on this world before the speedrun, considering that it takes 10 minutes for it to change to night. So, simple math, he played on this world for at least 7 minutes before he started recording. Something that makes even more sense as the run progresses and gets even less believable. So he uses the lava pool to make a portal and enter the nether, where he spawns right next to a bastion. And in the bastion, he finds a chest with obsidian, something that is very suspicious considering obsidian is not an item that can spawn in bastions. He leaves the bastion and runs for a while, presumably in search of endermen, but instead of heading to a nearby warped forest biome, the biome where endermen most commonly spawn by a lot, he ignores it and heads into a nether waste biome, where he spots multiple endermen, something that was clearly set up by him before the run. After this, he runs in an oddly specific direction until he finds a nether fortress, where he grabs the blaze rods he needs and then uses the obsidian he got from the bastion to build a portal and return to the overworld. He locates the stronghold next, which is maybe the only thing he does normally in the entire run. And once he finds it, he pretty much mines right into the portal room, which is less normal. Once in the end, he breaks a couple crystals, but I guess it's taking too much time, so he just leaves the rest of them and kills the dragon. So this story is pretty crazy, right? But you want to know what's even crazier? The featured channel page on the Andy Savior 9 channel is actually the key to all of this. The channel What Are You Doing in My Swamp is linked to Andy Savior 9. Also, the username checks out because this dude has had this channel since 2017, which I'm pretty sure is about when Shrek was funny. And what do you know? This channel has a speedrun on it as well. A speedrun that seemed very familiar to me when I first watched it. See if you can recognize what I'm talking about. In this run, he immediately runs to a desert temple, and after he loots it, something strange happens. As he's building up to exit the temple, there's a pretty obvious cut in the recording, and once he makes it out, it seems like he's in an entirely different area than before. This is the area outside the temple when he entered, and this is after he left it. Strange. This makes more sense when afterwards he immediately finds a village, which he loots and then heads into the nether, where he does something similar. He digs into a random wall after looting a fortress, and then when he leaves the hole, he's in a totally different location, this time right next to his portal, so he's able to quickly get back to the overworld. So why did this run seem so familiar to me? Well, I went back to a video of mine from a little over a year ago, and in the video, I actually break down this exact same run and call it out for being fake. Wow, so this one singular dude has been secretly infiltrating my videos with his fake speedruns for over a year now, with multiple different aliases and multiple different YouTube channels, and I had no idea. And who knows, he could secretly be in other videos of mine and I just haven't realized yet. He could even be on the speedrun leaderboards. Okay, but I have an even bigger cheater to tell you guys about. Let's take a look. This speedrunner spawns right into a village, where after looting some houses, he kills an iron golem that drops iron blocks instead of ingots like it's supposed to. Clearly fake. The runner heads to another village right next to the first, but notice how they randomly go out of their way to grab some sugarcane. Something that doesn't make much sense now, but it will later. He uses a lava pool to quickly make a portal, but instead of lighting it right away, he heads into the village to ruthlessly murder some chickens. But not for the food, for feathers. And here's where things really get crazy. He uses these feathers to craft an elytra, something that is clearly not possible. He uses this new elytra to head back to the first village, where he uses the sugarcane from earlier to trade with a level 1 librarian for ender pearls, a trade that you can only get from clerics, and only from those at level 4. The runner finally heads back to his portal from before and enters the nether, but immediately leaves because he forgot to go into this igloo here and grab the fishing rod from it, inside a barrel that has strangely replaced the normal wood block that's supposed to be there. So this fishing rod must be pretty important, and it is, because back in the nether, he uses it to craft a warped mushroom on a stick, which allows him to now control this strider chilling in a hole here that the runner clearly created himself. He rides the strider all the way to a fortress where he gathers some blaze rods and then rides it all the way back to his portal. He makes Eyes of Ender, heads to the end, kills the dragon, you know the drill. But take note of this player's username, Sam is Dead 12, a speedrunner who has already appeared in one of of my videos over a year ago, where I exposed one of his previous runs for being fake. But here's where things really get interesting. When I looked up his username, I found his account on a mod sharing website, where SamIsDead12 had uploaded a data pack called Speedrun Helper, with a few interesting features, most notably a change in Iron Golem loot that makes them drop iron blocks, and a custom recipe for crafting elytras. Sound familiar? Well, our runner friend was clearly using this mod in the speedrun we just watched to give himself an unfair advantage. But there's more. If we go to SamIsDead's YouTube channel where he's uploaded these fake runs, we'll see another channel linked to it, Magna Carta, where even more of his speedruns have been uploaded. In this first run, we'll just ignore how he already has 4 levels of XP. SamIsDead drops into a desert temple and actually steps on the pressure plate, but nothing happens, showing that he already disarmed the TNT before the run. He finds a compass in one of the chests, which is not possible, but there's something special about this compass. He follows where it points all the way until he reaches a village, something that makes sense when we take a look at his mod and find code that generates compasses that point to specific structures, such as a village. Next, SamIsDead finds a blacksmith with a ton of iron, way more than possible. He also finds an iron golem in a location that prevents it from moving, something that would only be possible if the golem was spawned manually by Sam, considering this is an invalid spawn location. Next, he accidentally turns the lava into obsidian, but when he mines down, apparently an entire nether portal frame was created, and he totally just plays it off as normal. What? He mines some quartz real quick before heading right back to the overworld, now with just enough levels to enchant his sword with a looting book that he found in the temple earlier. So he'll use this to get a ton of blaze rods, right? Well, yes. But instead of killing blazes, he kills magma cubes, and then crafts the magma cream into blaze rods, another feature in his illegal mod. Once again, totally playing it off as normal. Now back in the overworld, SamIsDead kills some endermen that drop him a ton of pearls, and then begins to head to the stronghold before crafting a single eye of ender. He just follows the direction of his compass and it leads him right to the stronghold. Awesome. In the next video on this Magna Carta channel, SamIsDead doesn't show his world creation screen, something that right off the bat is very suspicious, if he wasn't already suspicious enough. After spawning in, he ignores this plains biome here and immediately turns around and runs in the opposite direction, instead running directly to a village that he clearly already knew the location of. Inside of a blacksmith, he finds some pretty standard loot alongside a flint, an item that cannot spawn in blacksmiths but that he'll need for a flint and steel. After finishing up with the village, he runs right in the direction of a ruined portal, where right next to it, we can see raw dirt on the ground, most likely from the remnants of a portal that he made before the run to enter the nether and scope things out. In the ruined portal's chest, the runner finds 5 obsidian, more than the maximum possible of 2, 5 being the perfect amount he needs to complete the portal and head into the nether, where he walks directly to a fortress. What did I say about scoping the nether out before the run? While fighting some blazes, it strangely seems like way too many are spawning, something that's explained when we take a really close look at the spawner and notice that there's actually a second spawner hidden under the first. The blazes he kills also seem to drop ender pearls alongside their blaze rods, thanks to one of the features in SamIsDead's cheating mod that changes the loot tables for blazes. Sam heads back to his portal despite having far less eyes than a runner would generally opt for, but the portal strangely brings him to a totally new location in the overworld, evidently nowhere near the ruined portal that he originally entered the nether with, likely due to a clever cut in the recording when he was changing dimensions. He's now much closer to the stronghold, and once there, his 5 remaining eyes are the perfect amount for him to complete the portal and enter the end, where the dragon has already lost a ton of health before the runner even entered. Especially strange because all of the crystals are still intact. Something that's particularly interesting about this run, though, is the username of the account Sam is playing on, Candy for Life, where on the account's name MC page, we can find another YouTube channel linked to it, probably made after Sam's original channel was exposed for cheating. But how do we know for sure that this channel belongs to him? Well, let's watch one of the videos. Wait, first, subscribe. Okay, let's watch the video. In this run, the time is sunset from the very start, clearly showing that the runner has already played on this world, as it's supposed to take 10 minutes for a new world to change to night. Next, he heads into a village house where he finds a ton of iron, despite this being a normal house where iron cannot generate. After fighting an iron golem in the least efficient way possible, the runner heads through a snowy biome, and while chopping a tree, falls through powdered snow and right into an ancient city. What? And things get even weirder because as he loots the ancient city, a warden never spawns, even after he triggers one multiple times, and the screeching sound of one spawning plays constantly. This actually confirms that this run was made by Sam is Dead, as there's code in Sam's cheating mod that prevents wardens from spawning, something that is so specific that it couldn't possibly be a coincidence. After looting the ancient city a bit, the runner, or Sam, is now ready to head to the nether, but he'll need a flint and steel. Oh, but that won't be a problem, because he randomly decides to mine some stone and finds gravel under it. I wonder how he knew that there would be gravel in this exact spot. Sam finds a lava pool that conveniently has a very portal-shaped hole in the wall next to it, which he uses to put together a portal and head into the nether, where he has the absolute worst spawn possible. So, after looking around for a bit, he heads back to the overworld, and now has blaze rods and ender pearls somehow in his inventory. Thanks again to code in Sam's mod, that automatically gives a player these items when entering the nether. He heads to the stronghold next and eventually enters the end, where after destroying a crystal, just jumps off the pillar and takes no fall damage. And then another time. This is due once again to the cheating mod that disables fall damage while in the end. Now having destroyed all the crystals, the runner starts using beds to attack the dragon, but runs out while the dragon still has health. But don't worry, he throws some endstone on the ground, and when he picks it back up, he has one more bed, enough to kill the dragon and finish the run, thanks to the final feature, for now, in Sam's mod, which takes 3 endstone and invisibly crafts a bed. This concludes pretty much everything I know so far about Sam is Dead, but let me tell you about someone totally different who might just be even crazier. This runner, whose name is Mistrix, spawns in the middle of nowhere on a deserted island. Most speedrunners would end their run right here, but Mistrix isn't like the other runners. As he's sailing away from the island, there's an awkward cut in the recording which just barely reveals that the runner used a command to locate the nearest village, which he quickly navigates to. Once there, Mistrix runs directly to a blacksmith, which inside contains everything he needs to build the nether portal, none of which is possible blacksmith loot and was clearly planted there. He makes a portal and enters the nether, where he once again spawns in the middle of nowhere, before strangely falling into the lava next to him and almost dying. But the damage randomly just stops, allowing him to slowly swim all the way to the land. Next, he quickly locates a fortress where he walks around this corner here and casually picks up a blaze rod from the ground. He grabs some more blaze rods and then, after spending 5 minutes searching, finally finds a bastion with only a single piglin in sight. Here's where things get really interesting though. The runner loots the room's chest, which by the way has a suspiciously large amount of gold, and then proceeds to quickly leave the room before returning and finding a whole new set of loot in the exact same chest. But did you notice that? If you pay close attention to the corner of the screen, you'll spot what is clearly another player hiding in the shadows. And no, it's not Herobrine. After a quick cut in the recording, we can just barely see in chat that the mysterious player changed their game mode back to spectator, showing that this is likely Mistrix's friend secretly helping him out. Let me draw your attention though to the name of the hidden player, Trummies. When I first noticed this, I did some hunting and what do you know? I found a YouTube channel with the exact same name, featuring an interesting speedrun of its own. In the run on Trummies' channel, he instantly exposes himself by spawning in render distance of a woodland mansion, something that is impossible as a mansion can almost never generate less than 10,000 blocks from the world spawn. Trummies seems to know where to find all of the mansion's best loot, but alongside all of the normal loot, he finds quite a few obsidian. And even though there are a ton of items that can spawn in mansions, obsidian is not one of them. The runner is now able to build a portal, but seemingly doesn't have anything to light it with, until his game randomly lags a bit, and afterwards he suddenly has a flint and steel. Very clever. Once in the nether, the runner heads in a very specific direction that he clearly determined before the run. Something that's made even more clear by this area he crosses that's supposed to look natural, but was obviously created by him. He eventually ends up in an area with a few piglin who he lures into a hole for trading. 3 to be exact. But after throwing them some gold, he walks away to mine more, and when he returns, there are now 6 piglin in the hole. What? From the trading, the runner gets not only plenty of ender pearls, but blaze rods too, which is obviously not possible, and eliminates the need for him to find a fortress. So naturally, he just goes back to the overworld. Trummy starts heading towards the stronghold, but makes a strange detour through a snow biome where he fills an entire row of his inventory with snowballs. Why? Well, you'll see. Once he continues his search for the stronghold, the runner begins to head to random coordinates and throws an eye from each exact location, making it seem like he's strategically triangulating or locating the stronghold, while in reality it's just completely random. But either way, he still eventually finds and mines right into the stronghold, which I'm sure he definitely didn't already know the location of. Once in the end, you can clearly see that all of the obsidian pillars are shorter than they're supposed to be. This makes it really easy for the runner to use his hundreds of snowballs from earlier to destroy the remaining crystals, all of which he ends up needing because his aim is pretty bad. But notice how each time he destroys a crystal, the dragon loses a decent chunk of health, resulting in it only having half of its health by the time they've all been destroyed. Very interesting. In another video on this same new channel of Trummy's, he spawns in alongside a message saying that he joined the game, showing us that he's on a server. He also already has some hunger points missing, clearly showing that this isn't a new world. He's right next to a village where once he gets closer, you'll notice that there are quite a few eggs on the ground. Obviously not possible in a fresh world, but will come in handy later on. Trummy's enters the village's igloo where on the top floor there is a villager, something that is normally supposed to be underground. And of course, the villager is already leveled up quite a bit, allowing Trummy's to trade some emeralds he found for an enchanted iron axe. But strangely, he seems to somehow have the glint of the enchanted item disabled, which seems really random, but I promise will make more sense later. He leaves the village and makes the strange decision to enter a nearby cave, where while looting a mine shaft, Trummy's finds a dungeon. He of course mines the spawner, which drops iron? Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Now he's ready to head to the nether and quickly discovers a ruined portal, where in the chest there is not only the perfect amount of obsidian to complete the portal, but also a golden sword. And if we slow down the video, we can just barely see that it has looting 5. A totally impossible enchantment considering looting can't naturally go past level 3. Trummy's obviously doesn't want us to know about this enchantment, explaining why he disabled the enchantment glint, but nothing gets past me. He heads into the nether, where thanks to his looting sword, he is able to get a ton of blaze rods incredibly quickly. He needs to find a bastion next though, which he seems to not have planned for. So there's a quick cut in the recording, and afterwards we can just barely see in chat that he switched his game mode to survival, showing that he likely switched game modes and located a bastion. This of course is confirmed immediately after when he walks directly to a bastion, inside of which there are a ton of piglins, where once he's trading with them, he seems to get pearls way quicker than normal, suggesting that he's likely tampered with the drop rates. Now that he's ready to return to the overworld, Trummy's coincidentally finds a total of 10 obsidian and bastion chests, allowing him to build and head through a portal. Considering his large number of eyes, Trummy's takes no liberties when finding the stronghold, where once he's there, he mines straight down and ends up right in front of the portal. He enters the end where he uses the eggs he picked up earlier in the run to take care of the crystals. But when he starts to hit the dragon, he seems to deal quite a bit of damage, like more than he should be. If you pay close attention to what's happening though, it's pretty clear that that there are actually just 2 different people attacking the dragon. And guess who the second is? Mistrix, Trummy's friend who he helped cheat earlier in his own run. So we know these two are working together, but there's more. When Trummy's closes Minecraft after his run, he briefly reveals his desktop, which yes, is very interesting, but there's more to this. In a totally different video on a totally different channel with a totally different identity, this totally different speedrunner starts his run by revealing his desktop in the exact same way. And yes, they're the same desktop. This is Trummy's on a new channel. The run starts with the loading screen cutting right to Trummy's running, showing that there was a blatant cut in the recording, something that explains the desert temple he's able to run directly to. He doesn't even grab wood first. Oh, well, that's fine, because in the temple, he finds sticks and planks, alongside a shield and a flint and steel, none of which are possible. Next, he runs right to a patch of trees with a beehive and clicks the beehive to open it like a chest. Oh, and in the beehive, there are golden apples. Okay, that's creative, but definitely not a thing. He has pretty much everything he needs, so he walks directly to a conveniently located ruined portal that isn't quite complete. Trummy's doesn't have any obsidian to finish it, but after making the strange decision to mine this crying obsidian that's in the way with a stone pickaxe, he suddenly has obsidian in his inventory. He's now able to finish the portal and enter the nether, which has clearly already been generated because the lava has already flowed all the way down. Whereas in a freshly spawned nether, the lava will start all the way up at the roof. It makes sense why he's already been here once he walks straight to a bastion, where he finds an absolutely insane amount of gold and blaze rods in a chest. That's not how that works. After quickly trading his gold for pearls, he builds a portal which takes him right inside a brand new desert temple, indicating a pretty obvious cut in the recording. He doesn't loot any of the chests though. Instead, he just mines straight down and right into the stronghold, of course. But here's where things get really interesting. Once Trummy's finds the portal, you'll notice that it has 5 eyes in it, which aside from the fact that this only has a 0.38 chance of occurring naturally, Trummy's doesn't have enough eyes to complete the portal. In fact, he's 1 short. But after doing some quick crafting, he takes another look and now there's 6 eyes, the perfect amount. This makes a whole lot of sense once you notice the invisibility particles here, which indicate that another player placed the additional eye in the portal. Yeah, you know the drill at this point. Just like the last run, Mistrix is helping Trummy's. This happens once again once Trummy's enters the end and realizes he doesn't have enough beds to kill the dragon. But after a weird glitch in his recording, he has been given a ton more thanks to Mistrix. So these two must just be the perfect duo of cheaters. I mean, they've helped each other cheat in at least 5 different speedruns on 3 different YouTube channels, always lurking in the background of the other one's speedrun. I guess cheaters stick together. Make sure to subscribe for more fake speedrun videos.